Ladies and gentlemen, the video on top is the Mall of America in 1992. Now, as you can see, there was a familiar atmosphere. Kids riding the log flume, parents taking their kids on their first roller coaster ride, teenage boys nervously watching from a distance while teenage girls are shopping at the Gap. Now, the video at the bottom. This is the current Mall of America. In the span of 30 years, the Mall of America, which used to be a beacon of Americana, the Mall of America has turned into the Mall of Somalia. Instead of teenage girls shopping at the Gap, young men pretending to be women are shopping at Timmy's Tampons. The Mall of America has been de-Americanized. For that reason alone, Tim Walz should be in prison. Of course, you can't put Captain Doofus in prison for destroying a mall, but as it turns out, you might be able to put Timmy in prison for constantly interfering with ICE as they try to clean up what was once a great American city that has now been turned into a colossal dump. Headline at Mediaite: DOJ investigating Tim Walz and Jacob Frey over alleged conspiracy to impede federal agents. The other night in Minneapolis, Stan, an ICE agent was viciously attacked while doing his job. You know, I don't see ICE agents going into these daycares and disrupting the citizens of Minneapolis, Stan, while they're not working. I don't see ICE agents invading Woke Memorial Hospital and interfering with pretend Dr. Jill Biden as she shaves the heads of woke white women. ICE agents aren't bothering Minnesotans while they're not working. So why in the hell do they keep getting interrupted and attacked while they're actually trying to work? This particular agent, he was ambushed by 3 men. They tried to beat him with a shovel. They saw Joy Reid's broom parked on the street, and they attempted to strike the ICE agent with the handle, or as the Wicked Wee prefers to call it, the seat. I know a lot of normal people have been critical of ICE. I know a lot of normal people who aren't really paying attention to the news on a day-to-day basis. They're busy raising their kids. Maybe they're working 2 jobs. They see the headlines. They see the heavily edited clips on social media, and they're given an incomplete picture. They're not given the full context. According to recent polling, there is a growing segment of the population who supports abolishing ICE. I don't know if I can be any clearer, but it's time for normal people to wake up. What you're seeing in Minneapolis, Stan, this is not a protest. This is not a grassroots uprising of normal people protesting against the loss of life of the great American poet Renee Good. What you're seeing in Minneapolis, this is essentially an act of war. The radical left is at war with the federal government. And if the Trumper doesn't put an end to this immediately, what you're seeing in Minneapolis, it could potentially spread across the country. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Forest Natural. Nothing is more important than your health. Think about what I do here every day on YouTube. Something as simple as a head cold, sore throat. It can negatively impact my schedule. If I can't speak clearly, I can't work. Back in November, I started taking Enforce Plus from Forest Natural, this bottle right here. Ironically enough, this has been the first winter where I have dealt with minimal illness. Enforce Plus from Forest Natural. It is specifically designed to boost your immune system. The primary ingredient is a potent strain of Coriolis versicolor mushroom. Now, these aren't the magic mushrooms that you're thinking about, but they're damn sure magical. Coriolis versicolor mushrooms. They have been used for holistic purposes in Eastern cultures for thousands of years. The benefits of these natural immune supporting supplements, they have been backed by hundreds of studies from places like Sloan Kettering Cancer Institute of New York, MD Anderson in Texas. Around 85% of customers who purchase supplements from Forest Natural, they end up buying again the following month. Like I said, I have been taking Enforce Plus daily since late November. Haven't experienced any of the usual winter bugs. Could just be a lucky winter season for me, or the mushrooms could be working like they're designed to work. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied with the product or your purchase. You literally have nothing to lose. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Start taking better care of your health today with Forest Natural. If you're one of those normal people who have consumed the polished turds produced by the mainstream media, if you're one of those normal people who don't have the time to keep up with the news on a daily basis, maybe you see headlines here and there or clips on social media. If you're one of those normal people who have been convinced that ICE is bad, 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 let me show you who you are indirectly aligning yourself with. Outside of political Islam, I think woke white women are one of the biggest threats to America. I keep hearing about this lonely male epidemic. I keep seeing young men, I keep seeing men my age being blamed for staying single. Ooh, these men are incels. They're not getting laid because classy woke women are disgusted by them. Let me show you a possible reason as to why men are choosing to stay single. Take a look at some of the women in this clip. You tell me if you're bringing them home to mama. The first clip features young women emulating Joy Reid by shaving their head. The second clip features women pretending to cry over the so-called atrocities committed by ICE. I muted the sound for copyright reasons because there's music playing in the background, but watch for yourself. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder why millions of men are choosing to be single? If I was single, I would spank the skin off my wanker before I dated one of these yentas. If I brought tattooed Tanya home to my mother, she would immediately grab her Bible and cast the demon out of her house. All my ladies out there who think you look cute with tattoos on your face, tattoos on your hand, whole damn arm covered in nastiness, take it from your Uncle KC. You don't. Not only do you not look good, you're also not going to be taken seriously. If you don't believe me, go ask Pete Davidson. Pete is going through the grueling process of having all of his tattoos removed. Why? Once he got older, Pete realized that adults, grown-ups, we won't take you seriously if you look like a walking billboard. Yesterday afternoon, the Department of Justice launched an investigation into Tim Walz and Jacob Frey. They're being accused of impeding the work of ICE agents. Basically, they're being accused of inciting riots and turning Minnesota into a third world dump. The other night, Tim Walz made some incendiary comments about ICE. A couple of hours later, ICE agents were attacked and their vehicles were vandalized. Me personally, I wish the Trumper would add Omar Elon to this investigation. Watch for yourself.
Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
As they say, they're the most transparent administration, which is the biggest lie told on American soil, I believe. It is the least transparent. It is the most corrupt. It is the one administration I have seen lie to us, even though we have an accurate documentation of their lies.
Look, I know government moves slow when it comes to investigations, when it comes to serious criminal charges. The system is designed to move slow. But this is one of those rare instances where the investigation needs to be expedited. Radical leftists are throwing a temper tantrum. I believe there are 8, maybe 10 states right now who are refusing to comply with federal law. You know what that's called? It's called a civil war. The original Civil War, it didn't happen overnight. The North and the South, they didn't wake up one morning and just decide to engage in battle. The official start to the Civil War, it might have been in the 1860s, but the war started brewing 30 years earlier. Why? Because Southern states were refusing to follow federal law. This cannot continue. Right now, it's happening in Minneapolis, but if the Trumper doesn't put a stop to it, this could spread to the People's Republic of California, Seattle, Portland, New York City. You really think Zorro Mamdani is going to stop anti-American protest? According to reports on the ground in Minneapolis, the protests are drastically different between daytime and nighttime. During the day, the protests aren't exactly family-friendly, but from what I understand, the protesters during the day are somewhat legitimate. But once the sun goes down, the paid agitators emerge from their dungeons. I remember when I was in high school, I was 16, maybe 17 years old. It was Mardi Gras Day, and it was the first time I was going downtown on Fat Tuesday without parental supervision. Obviously, my parents were nervous, especially my dad. The night before, he told me, be home by dark, no exceptions. My teenage mind didn't understand. My teenage mind thought that my dad was being unreasonable. The last parade wasn't until 6:30, 7 o'clock. Why is my tyrant father making me miss it? Of course, his explanation was because I said so. But looking back at it now, I know why he wanted me out of downtown before it got dark, before the sun set. He knew people had been drinking all day. And for some reason, when you combine day drinking with sunset, it doesn't take very long for the party to turn into a riot. Every night in Minneapolis, that is what ICE agents are dealing with. They're spit on, they're attacked, and when they retaliate, when they defend themselves, they're demonized. When the reality is, ICE agents are not the enemy. ICE agents shouldn't be in prison. Captain Doofus Tim Walz should be in prison. Lieutenant Doofus Jacob Frey should be in prison. And they need to be there sooner rather than later. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.